Hello, Namaste everyone. I hope you guys are doing great. This video is going to be about Mars transit in the sign of Virgo, one of the important transits we are going to experience. Let's talk about it. But before that, if you guys are new to my channel, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get regular updates. Also, if you would like to have your personal readings from me, you can check out the link below www.anmollastrology.com. Under the readings and unique reading section, you can book a personal reading for yourself, and under the course section you can sign up for online courses. Okay, so let's get started with this video. Now, why the transit of Mars is important, I just need to address a few points here. Mars is the natural significator of the first house. It is the planet that governs our energy, where our energy goes, where our mind goes. It naturally rules the first house and the very first zodiac sign, which is Aries. So that's why it becomes extremely important, because wherever Mars is going to travel for those many months, our focus, our energy is going to go into those areas. So it's not more of a karmic situation like Saturn and Jupiter, but it means that that area requires our attention. That's why it becomes extremely important. And the second thing is that now Mars is actually moving away from the energy of Ketu. Finally, it is away from the energy of Ketu and from Leo as well. So in Leo, definitely it's a fire sign, it's a reactive sign, but with the conjunction of Ketu, Mars was more violent, impulsive, and clueless. So the energy, the action was there, but the focus, the precision, the calculativeness was not there. So now when it is coming into Virgo, it is going to be much more focused, analytical, precise, and work oriented. Right? So Mars is going to travel to the sign of Virgo on 28th of July 2025 and is going to stay in that sign till 13th of September 2025. So it's a long transit that we have. So now we need to understand, what does Mars do in the sign of Virgo? First of all, Mars is about energy, about our mind, about our vitality. It is about action. It is about humanitarian nature. It's about provision. This is the planet which rules the first and the eighth house. The planet that is basically responsible for our transformation, for our mindset, for how our personality comes about when it works, when it does something, right? When we are doing something, what does it create? So Mars is also about our appearance. It's about sports, it's about energy, where it goes, where the mind goes, what we think. Anything and everything associated with first house is basically Mars. Then the eighth house is about transformation. It's about Scorpio. It's about dark, deep secrets. It's about the changes, the sudden changes that comes in. It's also about the secrets that basically go on within our mind. Right? It is the research oriented planet as well. It is the planet of perfection and very much about status, about what is being presented out there, because that is the reason Mars gets exalted in the 10th house. It is an ambitious planet. It is a planet full of aspirations, full of ambitions, and not, I would significantly say, hard work, but it's more like discipline. Mars is responsible for your discipline, for your routine. Now, when it comes into the sign of Virgo, Virgo is about precision, it's about perfection, it's about conflicts, obstacles, but it is a very calculative sign, analytical sign. It is a sign which makes you have your attention to the details. It makes you deal with enmities, your competition, diseases, and your lifestyle, as in your your nutrition lifestyle, like your health lifestyle, not the lifestyle that you get for yourself with money, but the lifestyle that you have in a routine, repetitive way, and also with your health and nutrition. That is sixth house, right? Virgo is considered to be a marketplace. That's why it also represents service. It also represents your workspace, your relationship with the colleagues, or the environment of your workspace. It is also called as a Banjar Sthan, or a barren land. That means that is a land which works more on practicalness and less on emotions. That is the reason why the sixth house, or Virgo, is all about debts, obstacles, and when you deal with certain litigations, certain arguments or debates related to, anything that you do or anything that is involved there. So when Mars comes in Virgo, now, when we are talking about transit, we need to understand that we are just going to focus on the transition of this Mars from Leo to the sign of Virgo. When Mars was in Leo, it was rather very lazy and less into work or less into going ahead with its goals. So Mars being in Leo is considered as a soldier being on a throne. Now, the soldier does not have to go out and work. It is just on a commanding position, and it commands others to do certain things for them. So that basically gives lack of appropriate actions. It's not lack of action because it is a fire sign ultimately, but it is lack of appropriate action. So you see those people who might have lost their jobs and not even taking any initiative, not even working, not even trying to get to the work. They are lucky. They are lucky by the money matters, by the circumstances, that somehow things go good with them. Right. But still, they're not working hard. They're not going out there, so as to find a job, so as to work hard, do that hard work. That is Mars in Leo. And when it gets afflicted with Ketu, there's a lot of chaos, lot of confusion, lot of unrequired ego, doubts with one's own self-esteem, revenge, revenge nature, vengeance. All these emotions come there. And that is a journey which all of us would have been through because of Mars and Ketu together in the sign of Leo, that we would have been challenged with our ego, with our self-esteem, and with our own personalities and confidence. And through transformations, through transformative events, we have actually now understood that what is the importance of discipline, what is the importance of provision, and what is the importance of being careful with our with our actions, to be over and not over but analytical with our actions. That's the journey which we are heading to now. That's why this transition is basically us understanding how important it is to be grounded, how important it is to leave one's ego and focus on work and ethics and discipline. So now when Mars comes into the sign of Virgo, it talks about precision. It talks about, analyst, analytical nature. Sometimes I have such a hard time to pronounce words that I do on the daily basis, but I don't know why it happens. So Mars in Virgo is a very precise Mars. This is a Mars which is going to motivate you to have a healthy, disciplined routine, to work on daily basis, not to be lazy at all, and enjoy a healthy lifestyle also. Mars, when comes into the sign of Virgo in the transit, remember the dispositor is retrograde when it is basically transiting. So for initial approximately 13 to 14 days, Mercury is retrograde. So for the initial 13 to 14 days, people are going to take forward the backlogs. Like, for example, if suppose it's like a new person who has been recruited in a very, in a government office, and now he comes in and now he tells that what are the areas, what are the pending applications, what are the pending requests, just bring all of it on my table today. And then that person is on a mission to get all this backlogs, all these problematic, all these problems of the people to get solved. That person is working more than what this person is expected to work. Like if you are expected to work 9 to 5, this person is going to work like 9 to 9, so as to just get those things done, get in order, get in discipline, and be able to come to that point where they can start fresh, where they can start in a very systematic manner. So it's all about organization, it's all about giving attention to the details, all about observing and also planning your action in accordance with that. So wherever your sign of Leo and sign of Virgo is, that is the domain, that is the transition you're going to experience. And for the first 13 to 14 days, of course, because of retrogression, it's more about you clearing out your past prarabdha karma, because the sign of Virgo, the sixth house, is all about prarabdha karma that you have carried forward. So the first few days are about you taking concern about your past debates, your past conflicts, your past problems. Either it is related to health, it is related to work, it is related to relationships, but you're going to be involved with solving the past matters first, and then sorry and then moving forward with new opportunities and working rigorously with those new opportunities. Okay, so I would say this actually is a matter of motivation for a lot of people who are feeling stuck in their situations in their life, especially with people who are Virgo ascendants, who are Leo ascendants. And I guess it's actually everyone, right? Because this Mars and Ketu energy has been violent. It has done so much of damage on a mundane level. It has taken so many lives, right? It has done so many accidents. So now it's finally something moving out, like the violation, the violent side of Mars and Ketu is now finally moving out. And now it's all about coming back to order, right? Now let's just quickly share the Muhurat chart. Okay, so the Muhurat chart is of Capricorn ascendant, right? Just give me 1 second. I think my screen might have flipped. So let me just correct that. Yeah, so I'm not aware actually that because I did flip my screen previously so as to get a better angle than previous videos. But I guess that would have also flipped my screen. I would check it later. I can't see it right now. I'll check later in the recording that it would have just flipped all the screen of these charts as well, and you would be able to see that on a flipped screen. But now I have corrected it, so hopefully it is correct now. So the Muhurat chart is for Capricorn rising. This transit is happening on 28th of July in Delhi. In as per Indian time, it is happening at 8:11 p.m. So that is the Muhurat chart here. We have with a Capricorn ascendant. The ascendant lord is retrograde, and even Mercury is retrograde at the same time, right? But Mars is in the 9th house. So our focus has to be on Mars, on the sign of Virgo, and on the sign of Leo, the transition which it is happening. But of course, the ascendant talks a lot. The Muhurat chart ascendant is very, very important. So the focus is on hard work, for coming into discipline, coming into organization and order. At the same time, we see that Mars is in the 9th house. So it means that people will be more into working out, things, coming out of laziness. Of course, this Mars is going to, activate the negative side of Mars being in the sign of Virgo as well, which is being overly passionate with over analytical nature, being a nitpicker, a person who is just, cribbing on the minute things because they're not getting it right. They're not getting it perfect. That's why we have Dhanishta as the ascendant. But definitely, I told you guys, for the initial timeline, for the initial few days, you will have to deal with past conflicts. And that's what this is telling me. And basically, Mercury goes 11 places away. It goes 11th from this Virgo sign and goes retrograde. So that means that the growth is there, the good results are there, the satisfying results are there, but it would require a lot of hard work, moving and proving one's worth by doing the actions, doing the appropriate actions. At the same time, we actually do not have any planet aspecting Mars rather than a retrograde Saturn. Since retrograde Saturn is going to be there till 28th of November, then it means that till the time Mars is in Virgo, it is going to be aspected with Saturn retrograde. Definitely, the Saturn's aspect is going to support this Mars. But again, whenever there's a mutual aspect of Saturn and Mars, Mars tends to give the energy to Saturn, and Saturn tends to give the restriction, or what we'll call as determination and focus, to Mars. It definitely means that both of them are a little bit in an uncomfortable situation. They're not free with their qualities. Mars is not totally free with its impulsive nature, with its action oriented nature, and Saturn is also not at the best place, with Mars aspecting it, to move in a delayed manner. So this time is about quick actions. This time is about quick focused actions, towards organizing, towards bringing in order. So definitely all of us have to deal, whenever I see a mutual aspect or a conjunction of Saturn and Mars, I always consider it as a disturbance or a kalesh like situation, like a disturbance, a fight. That fight happens because both of these planets have very different associations. So when they come together, it's more of a clash, it's more of a fight. But when they are opposite to each other, they help each other to sustain and to bring the best out of them. So Saturn is going to not be delaying the subjects for everyone, the things for everyone. And Mars, on the other hand, is not going to be very aggressive with its actions, but is going to be controlled and restricted, but focused and determined by Saturn's energy. And also support is going to be there wherever Saturn is. So let's talk about Capricorns now. For Capricorns, Mars is going into the 9th house. It has finally come out of the 8th house. So you are now free from transformation. You are free from cutting ties, experiencing intense, sudden events. Now it's your time to understand, evaluate the higher lessons that you have gotten, and now to work accordingly, to work upon and to be at service to your father, to be at service to your gurus, but at the same time, you will be the one who will be criticizing them to work better, to be better, not just them, but to yourself. Mars can make a person very rigid with their thinking, with their selection. So, for example, just I'm giving an example. For example, a person has Capricorn ascendant or moon, that means that you are going, suppose, for example, I think I might have said, for example, 3 times. So, if you are selecting a partner, you can be quite concerned and rigid with your thoughts, with what you want in a partner. If you are, suppose, choosing a job, you will be overly indulged in nitpicking into what kind of job you want to do and what kind you do not want to do. That is the mindset that I see with this Mars. But of course, the energy, the passion is there, the consideration, the precision is there, the goals are there, the energy to go towards those goals are there, right? But along with that, just be careful of not being overly indulging into this criticism nature, into this judgmental nature, in this critical analytical nature. At the same time, and it can even give you some disagreements with the father or guru, but there you guys will have to manage or find a middle ground here. Mars is the lord of your fourth and the 11th house. That means that you might be able to gain from a distance, gain or get your recognition regarding your research, regarding your creativity from a distance, or by you teaching that sort of creativity to others. You may get recognized for that. But definitely this is a promising placement. The fourth and the 11th lord going into the 9th house is where your luck basically is there with you, is working with you, right? And it also can give a bit of situation where your mother and your father both have to take care of their health, and especially their nutrition, their digestion, and their daily routine, right? Now, next we have the sign of Aquarius. With Aquarius, we have Mars in the 8th house. Now, it is coming out of the zone of the 7th house. There are no more fights, no more violent energy in the 7th house, no more, being aggressive on the partner, having distance with the partner. Rather, now your energy is going into finding your stability. Mars is the lord of your third and the 10th house. That means it is going to bring about a major change either in your residence or with your work, profession, or job. This time, you will not be more reactive, rather, you will act intelligently, you will act cleverly. Your mind is running around, and now you have understood that it is not about reactions, it is not about being bothered by what others are doing. Rather, I have to focus on my own goals and work around with them. Watch over your relationship with your in-laws, because there can be too much of criticalness coming from both the sides, you towards your in-laws and your in-laws towards you. That can also create a bit of rift within your married life. If you are married, if you are not married, it can bring about a very transformative time within you, where you will be about researching and searching, looking for answers through either astrology or some occult sciences or anything of that sort. Okay, but of course this is like a lot of energy was with your interactions with others, so a lot of problems would have arisen previously because of Mars and Ketu in the 7th house. Even it shows that your partner would have experienced health issues. Now it is about them also being involved into even being involved into their routine and getting balance within their routine. Also, this can give some sort of problems, or it can even settle up your problems with your younger sibling, because it is the third lord coming into the eighth house. Definitely the situation is not very best, but since this Mars is entering in Uttara Falguni in the very beginning of this transit, at the same time Mercury is retrograde, this could make you join your hands with your younger sibling or even a male friend, male partner, for settlement, for settling the matters, right? That is what it shows. Now, next we have the sign of Pisces. For Pisces, your Mars is coming into the seventh house. Now, it is actually coming from a very conflicted zone towards your seventh house. For Pisces individuals, it is your second lord and your ninth lord. Of course, it's a beautiful combination that is being made in your seventh house, because Mars is basically the lord of your second and the ninth house. That means it will bring about good opportunities with work, with business, and also with partnerships. But of course, you can be overly analyzing and overly analytical with your partnerships, with your associations with others. This is the time for you to balance your work life and your personal life. It's a lot of lesson learning time. At the same time, some of the conflicts can also come within your, partnerships, within your relationships as well, because of dominance, because of overly indulging into situations, overly giving in your energy into the situations. Okay, that can create that. But of course, this is a time for you to do the seva of your partner. You need to be at service to your partner, and you would even suppose if you do it voluntarily, it is going to be the best, or else you'll be forced to be at service with your partner, towards your partner, and your partner needs to take care of their health and their nutrition, right? If there would have been conflicts which were there previously in your partnership, in your relationships, you can expect them to now settle down, either settle down as a part of like they are just now gone, now there's a healthy start, or it could be about settlements, right? There's conflict, now you guys decided to part your ways, then there's a settlement. Or you guys had conflicts, but now it's your time to go beyond those conflicts and work together again, right? But definitely it's a mixed time, it's a time full of mixed emotions. It's the time for you to deal with your past conflicts at the same time when you are trying to get back on your foundation. Now next, but the money matter wise, it's a brilliant time. And I also feel somehow your family, or specifically your father, has to be involved in this situation of either marriage, relationship, or your, business. Now, next we have the sign of Aries. For Aries, Mars is coming into the sixth house. This means you're going to be well associated with your nutrition. This is your time when you will be like that, I need to work on my body. I need to get better with my my lifestyle, my body, my health. So your mind is going to be totally towards getting getting a healthier body, getting a healthier digestive system. So you would follow a routine, you would go back, you would be like, I want to go to the gym, I want to be involved into sports and stuff like this, where I am feeling active. At the same time, you will have to deal with the complications of the career. Not complications, rather I would say you are going to be very much involved in the career as well. So this is your time to find a balance between your personal life and your work life. Mars is the lord of the first and the eighth house coming into the sixth house. This could also help you settle ancestral ancestral dispute or a dispute related to either insurances, sudden complication that would have arisen earlier, or related to properties, anything of that sort that needs to come to settlement. Now you're going to go back, watch the papers, learn what all the all the points it has mentioned, and now come to terms with it. And also it talks about debts. You may bring end to debts. You would want to manage your finances and manage your debts and just get done with them. That is what I see for Aries. Now for Taurus individuals, Mars is transiting the fifth house. It is coming out of a very clustered, very frustrated energy from the fourth house. Now it is moving to the fifth. Whenever Mars moves to the fifth, people might find problems with their education. So if you are a student, you may get complications with your education. You will have to find something would come around which will make it hard for you to concentrate. So it's like a journey that you're going to deal with, where you are repetitively trying to find your confidence, to find your concentration for your exams, and to give a very competitive competition during your exams. Now this Mars in the fifth house also obsesses a person towards having a romantic or at least a lustful relationship. So, but I do feel since Saturn is in opposition, it would control this Mars to some extent, because I do see a love connection. I do see you involved in love, romance and everything like that. But at the same time, I see you being over analytical with everything regarding your love partner. You're being over critical, you're being over picky, you're just judging them on the slightest things, and everything like that is happening within your love life, within your marriage life, all the things related to relationship. So that is where you need to calm yourself down and work on yourself, that you're not overly criticizing anyone, you're not being overly protective of your own things, of your own emotions, right? This also makes a person indulge into shares, speculations, or getting money from speculations, learning about that. Mars definitely gives a strong interest there. Okay, Mars is the lord of your 12th house and your 7th house. There can be a feeling of romance and a feeling of loss of romance at the same time. Now how you are acting upon that is that will depend the result. Of course, this can give you a very good time with your spouse, but at the same time it can, if you are not grounded, if you are more aggressive, it can give you conflicts within the marriage and within the relationships. Either it is love or it is the marriage one. Okay. It also means that you will be very much into, you may even get losses from investment. So be very careful, be very precise of where you are investing your money, where you are putting your money, right? And another thing, you are going to feel very creative. You are going to work with your subconscious mind, with your intuition, and with your intuitive ideas during this time. Now, next we have the sign of Gemini. For Geminis, Mars is coming out of the energy of the third house, now in the fourth house. Although for you, Mars energy was more reactive, but still a bit frustrating because it was clueless. But now Mars has come into your fourth house. Your energy is much needed in your home rather than outside, rather than at your work. So Mars coming into the fourth house first gives, I do feel that your attention is needed towards your mother. At the same time, your mother and you can have a bit of distance and a bit of, domination towards each other. Definitely her health is something of concern and she needs to take care of her health, but there will be a situation where she will also be trying to control your dynamics or trying to be very dominating over you. But it's your time to balance your relationship with her. It's your time to be in an, even though you are uncomfortable, even though you are irritated, but you will have to work around. You'll have to settle, not be aggressive, not be impulsive, and work around with it. Of course, this Mars in the fourth house in the sign of Virgo is also going to make you self critical of your emotions, right? But definitely when Mars comes into the sign of Virgo, it's a very helpful Mars. It makes a person very passionate upon being at service and being helpful to others. This Mars is the lord of the sixth house and the 11th house. This can bring about, like, you may purchase a home or a land, you might take debt, or you might simply just purchase. There's a gain. You might even purchase a vehicle, but be very careful with vehicles. It can even lead to some minor accidents. So just be careful with that. And also, it is bringing in some conflicts within the home. So the home situation, the home environment would not be the best. There would be some irritation. There would be you overly thinking, overly doing things in the home, which would actually create rift and oppositions, arguments within the home dynamics. So you need to be more grounded and less arrogant during this time, right? Next, we have the sign of Cancer. For Cancers, Mars is happening to be in the third house. Mars in the third house makes a person involved into, there's a situation, always they encounter situations whenever Mars comes into the third house where they have to show their courage. Definitely, they have to show their courage. Mars in the third house will also make you very overcritical of your own skills, especially technical skills, and then you'll be like improvising it. You'll be overly criticizing yourself with your skills, and that would act as a indirect motivation for you to become better or to do better with your work, with your skills. But it can give you very aggressive and overly critical communication. So be grounded, be a little sympathetic with your communication. Do not be overly blunt, and do not pick up on fights with others, because it does show that you will pick on fights with your siblings. You will pick on fights with others because of rift and, communication where you are not at all considered about other people's emotions. You're just focused on your own emotions. So that's what this Mars could create here. This Mars is the lord of your and of course, it would make you very much involved into your job scenario, into working, and rather being very competitive within the work dynamics, within the work environment, because this is the lord of the fifth house and the 10th house. Whenever the lord of the fifth and the 10th is same, and then it comes into either the fifth house or the third house, that means there's a transformation that is about to come in respect of your career. There's some changes you might see happening. You might have to deal with some changes, but of course, this is a very hard working Mars. It will make you work hard, and you will love to work hard, and you would love to go one step ahead in your career. But this would come around with a significant change, and your creative mind, your decision oriented mind, is going to play a very important role in this career dynamics. Okay, now next we have the sign of Leo. For Leo individuals, of course, it's much of a relief, because now it's no more irritation. It's no more you, feeling underconfident or feeling confused with your own presence, with your own existence. Now Mars is moving away. It is going into the second house. Now it's all about you getting back on track. You dealing with managing your finances, what managing your money matters, your assets. But this managing would not be easy. This managing would bring about a bit of restrictions as well at the same time, because of Saturn in the 8th house. Then this Mars is the lord of the 4th house and the lord of the 9th house. It means that you will be lucky enough to either get your money from real estate, or you will get your money from like working from home, or from something related to the home, right? Related to the home comforts, or related to a big change, right? Either receiving money from real estate, from gaining profits from real estate, or a machinery, something of that sort I see for you people. But definitely it also talks about you having a bit of rift within your family life, because you are being overly critical, nitpicker with your communication. You're trying to dominate the finances and how to use the finances. And on the other hand, you're also being very budgetary, very much of a person who is becoming person who spends where the need is, but also becoming very evaluative at the same time. So it's like equal of both the things, right? So your energy, your mind is going to be totally towards your health, nutrition, money matters, and your association with the family. But definitely you will have to deal with past conflicts of your family, with your family. Now next we have the sign of Virgo. For Virgo individuals, Mars is transiting in your ascendant. It is now coming out from the 12th house. So it's no more that you're getting restricted, you're feeling confused, you don't know, you are just being you're feeling that my feelings are being compromised, I'm not able to take action. Rather, now it's the time for you to plan your actions to be executed, right? Now these actions, these planned scenarios are going to take place, are going to come into actions. Mars coming into the first house, being the lord of the third and the eighth, exactly is not the best thing that you expect. So that means because of the worst scenarios, you are going to find your confidence. Out of the worst scenarios, you're going to find your energy to act upon. Of course, you're going to feel quite conflicted within your own mind, because you would want everything to be in order, you would want everything to be in precision. But that over analytical nature of yours can also affect your mental health. It can bring in about a swear OCD at the same time. Definitely this is a time when you are going to work, your attention is going to be towards work, towards your health, towards your personality. And this is the time when you need to go to the gym. This is the time when you need to have some physical activity. You cannot just sit in your isolated place like you were doing previously. Rather, it's about to come into action, to come and analyze all the disputes that you have had earlier, deal with them, get done with them, and start fresh. Start with new work, start with new life, everything fresh, right? Next, we have the sign of Libra. For Libra individuals, Mars is in the 12th house. For you, it has now gone from an action oriented Mars to a Mars where it's more about planning. You need to plan, you need to set your, whatever you are thinking, you are needed to deal with your obstacles, deal with your enemies, deal with your competition in a very precise manner. Be focused, planning before this Mars gets into the energy where you can actually come on the front and do the action. Right now, your actions are required to come from within and come from the background, not by you being at the front. right? Mars in the 12th house makes you manage your subconscious mind and also your sleep. You'll be overcritical with your subconscious mind, and that's why you can also get angry very easily. You get uncomfortable very easily, that why things are not moving this way. So that is actually going to act as a motivation for you to go about, to work on your ideas, to work on your subconscious self. But of course, this is also a time you need to take care of your health. You might be visiting hospitals for this matter. You need to take care of your digestion, you need to take care of your physical health also. Okay, try to meditate, try to either be associated within sports or physical activities, but take it slowly. Don't do all of a sudden, just take it slowly. This Mars is the lord of the second house, and this is the lord of the seventh house. You would feel a distance with the spouse, right? You would experience a time where you're not feeling the urge to balance or to be at service towards your spouse. Rather, this is the time for your spouse to actually be at your service. Another thing what it shows is, it also shows, if you are man or if you are women might be going to hospital for pregnancy related things, and if you are a man, you'll be taking your wife to the hospital for regular checkups of their health and stuff like this. Since this is the second lord coming into the 12th house, there's going to be a lot of expenditure as well on provision, where you'll have to provide, right? You will feel the need of providing others. That's why you'll be taking on expenditures and also managing your finances, your debts, getting done with your debts. And for this matter, for the initial days, debt can actually accumulate, and then you'll have to deal with, just making it go, just balancing it out. Now next we have the sign of Scorpio. For Scorpio individuals, your Mars is, your ascendant lord, and it is the lord of the sixth house. Now it is coming into the 11th house. This is a very, very intelligent Mars. This is a Mars who knows how to associate with the social circle so as to gain from them. But be aware that at the same time, you may also have conflicts, or you may also have hidden enemies within your social circle only. Your focus is about gaining, your focus is about being recognized, but at the same time, you do have hidden enemies within your social circle which would come out during this time, and that's why you will have a very competitive nature in your social circle. You'll have a very practical mindset towards your social circle. This is a time where you can, one of the remedies I will suggest you is to be at seva to organizations like NGOs. Either you can donate some money, or you can just be at seva to them, do some seva, go there, do some seva. Do not take any important decisions during this time because of the opposition of Saturn and Mars. There can be a lot of rift that can happen within your love life and with your friends as well. So you need to take care of that as well. There could be, unnecessary interactions that can lead to conflicts within your marriage as well. For some reason, I felt that. Okay, but of course this will give you immense ideas, 10 different ideas, at the same time, and you will feel confused with your decisions. So it's the time is to actually be focused, be precise with what you desire, with what you want, and then to work towards it. Okay, there can be some sort of a rift and argument, or some sort of difference in opinion with the siblings. Some sort of fight can come in with the sibling, right? Now next, and when I'm talking about fight, my daughter is shouting in the background like crazy. Seriously, like I don't know what has gotten into her. She shouts a lot nowadays. Like even you go to touch her and you have not touched her yet, and she'll start shouting. So now we have Sagittarius as the ascendant. So for Sagittarius ascendant and moon individuals, you will have to since your Mars is going into the 10th house, you will be out there. You will be very much involved in your work, and there are conflicts, or there are pending scenarios regarding your work that you will have to deal with. Your father definitely would have to take responsibility of their own health. And also, one thing is there, that now Mars coming into the 10th house wants you to organize your career, organize your actions. You would have been on a very aggressive mode previously, but now it's about you settling down with your energy, being grounded. This is the time for compromises. This is the time for you to balance your work and your personal life, for you to take actions based on your intelligence, your subconscious mind. Also, this is the time for you to take decisions, because Mars is your 12th lord and it's your 5th lord. You have to bring in creativity within your work. There can be some dominance issues with authorities or with your bosses if you are in job, but this would bring about a major transformation within your career. Your career is going to experience a massive transformation, which can actually be positive if you stay grounded. You need to be considerate of your actions, right? And then this time is all about you acting upon. This time is all about you getting balanced, getting in discipline with your routine, with your work, with all the areas of your life. Right now, it's no more about you accessing your control over, because of your mindset, beliefs, and your you feel what is right and stuff like this. Now it's about you analyzing the situations with a very practical mindset and deal with it. It's also about a very calculative time regarding your finances and regarding your career. Okay, guys, so this was my analysis for Mars transit. During this Mars transit in the sign of Virgo, Seva can be something that you should do. Gym, being involved into sports or physical activities would be the best thing you can do to utilize the energy of this Mars. Okay, and also you can also donate red lentils, masoor dal, or you can even donate red, or not red, sorry, orange colored clothes on Tuesday to the temples. But definitely, service and physical activity is all you need for this transit. Okay, so we'll see you next time. Bye bye. Take care.